What's going on? This is the 3-year overhaul of Madden 12 that everybody's been waiting for. Heavily marketed by EA, lots of cool features coming in, and here we are. We got the demo out. I mean, the game looks pretty promising. Um, it's not without its issues though, but it's got a lot of cool stuff. Some of which you may not even know about. So that's why I'm making this video. One thing I noticed right off the bat, my first snap, not so much the kick return, but my first snap, was how much faster the game plays. And that brings me to one of the issues that I see with this game we could end up having, because Aaron Rodgers looks as fast as Michael Vick. Cutler is pretty damn fast. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs last year. I mean, he can run, but he's not that fast. With how fast Aaron Rodgers is, it makes me wonder how fast Michael Vick's going to be, Vince Young's going to be, maybe even Cam Newton's going to be. So it's a cause for concern. Well, they need to make it to where the zones, when your defenders are playing zone, they respect the quarterback in a more aggressive, in an aggressive way. Not so much sitting back in their zones. And yeah, it's going to open stuff up, but no player, no linebacker is going to sit back in the zone and watch Mike Vick break right up the middle. It ain't going to happen. He's going to try and go after him and attack him. So that needs to change. I can say that right now. Day 1 patch, whatever you guys could do at EA, please, 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 please fix that. The quarterbacks are going to be way too fast. Way too fast. One little Easter egg, I guess you could call it, or feature that EA didn't really market that I thought was very cool. One thing I used to do, I think it was Madden 07, Madden 08, those years, maybe Madden 09, I can't remember. On 360, there was a thing called left trigger passing, and I was curious to see if they still had it in the game or not. It was in there last year. I wanted to test it this year, and when I tested it out, I actually ended up doing a pump fake. And what happens is when you hold the left trigger now, you get to choose who you're pump faking now. For example, let's say you got Johnny Knox over here at X, okay? You got him going deep. Let's say the defense is playing a cover 2. You got Tremont Williams down in the flats, and you've got Nick Collins over the top. You hold left trigger, you tap X, because that's where Nick Collins is going to be, is picking up Johnny Knox, and he hesitates, jumps a little bit, and then you get space on the 9 route. So I thought that was a pretty sweet feature. Hopefully it's not something that's exploited or it's over effective, but it's a very cool feature nonetheless. Especially since EA didn't really put that out there for anybody to see. I always thought it was kind of dumb in the first place anyways, that you can, pump fake, and you're not really pump faking anything. You're just pump faking the entire defense, which was kind of stupid. So that's a nice touch. I mean, the zone coverage, though, that's the bright spot on Madden. That's what really shines. I don't feel cheated when I throw an interception anymore on Madden. That right there is a milestone achievement from EA Sports. I no longer feel cheated in the sense that if I throw a ball over the middle, Nick Collins is there within arm's reach. He's going to try and pick the ball off. I also appreciate that linebackers, the super linebackers, aren't so bad as well, in the sense that it seems to me that linebackers more often than not will go for a swat, a lunging swat. They will not go for a skyrocketing interception. That seems to be restricted to defensive backs now, which is a very nice touch. Another thing I like too, and some people I've seen have complained, is the break tackle animations, or just the animations in general, that they play out way too fast. Well, the reason I think EA went that route is, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with this, where let's say you get hit in the backfield, you break the tackle, you throw them off. Well, by the time you get out of that break tackle animation, you're caught dead to rights in the backfield by the rest of the defense. So I really appreciate that a lot, that EA, changed such a minute detail, to make the game much more accessible. It helps the run game tremendously. You still have the stuff where you get hit and you bounce off and you roll like 10 yards upfield, which I'm not really, I don't really like that so much, but I can deal with it once in a while. I do like how power backs feel like power backs now. That is awesome. How to see Matt Forte and Ryan Grant falling forward on almost every tackle is a real treat. I really appreciate that. And then the finesse guys, Hester, Brandon Jackson, I've seen a bit in the demo. Those guys, tend to slide under tackles and just fall straight to the ground while the guy will go over the top. So they have different tackle animations. One glitch I noted, and I know other people have said it too on the forums, is Jay Cutler's release when he's throwing the football. It's like he gets to about right here, and when he's about to release it, the ball somehow goes from here in his hands, and it's floating back here, and then he just rockets it forward. That's obviously a glitch and something that needs to be changed. I hope that he's the only quarterback in the game that has this issue. When you enable the Madden 10 audible controls, you use the left analog stick to shift your player. Let's say you want to move your linebackers or your defensive line, and let's say that I'm on Julius Peppers. If I press LB to move my defensive line, and I use the left analog stick. Now, if I use the left analog stick and flick it over to move it, then Peppers moves on his own, and then the D-line goes. He doesn't move with the D-line. I don't want the left analog stick to move my player when I'm making audibles. I don't. I would rather have, than having to go to the D-pad and do that. Because if you do it on the D-pad, it works fine. That's not there at all. I just want, everything to function how it's supposed to, just like it would on Madden 10. EA, this is not a patch anymore to implement these controls. This is actually in the game from the onset for this, this edition. So you're not patching it in. There's really no excuse for that. Also, another thing that's very irritating about the Madden 10 audibles is there's no quick audibles anymore. They're there, but you have to press X, and then you have to go up and down a little pretty looking, it looks really nice, little list, and select it. I don't like that. Just give me the analog stick, the right analog stick, let me flick left, right, up, or down like I'm used to and everybody else is used to. The CPU pass rush is perfect. They get a good enough amount of pressure, not too much, not too little. I think the CPU pass rush is just fantastic. The user pass rush, however, that's a problem. I found that when I'm controlling my defense that there's not enough of a pass rush. Without sending the house with a 4-man front, or even just sending 5 guys, there's just not enough pressure. No one's beating anybody on the offensive line, really, until you get on them and user control the defensive player, somebody like a Julius Peppers or a Clay Matthews. Until you user control those guys, they're really not doing much for you. Another thing that's really hasn't been discussed too much is the precision passing. I feel like I have more control over where I want to place the ball than I do on NCAA, and that could just be because the short, medium, deep accuracy ratings and throw on the run ratings that Madden has, the NCAA lacks. But I just feel that it's on a whole nother level compared to last year. I feel like I have much more precision and control over where I'm placing the football, and it makes passing a lot less scary, and a lot less bullcrap with super linebackers. And I think that may be why super linebackers, have been dumbed down or toned down a little bit too, is because you may not feel it, or know it's there and notice it, but I can feel it though, that you have more precision over where you're placing the football, which is always nice. Play action so again. I haven't really ran it too much. I haven't really, committed to the run enough to run play action to judge if it really, really truly works as it should. But the animations in play action do look fantastic. They look realistic as hell, I will say that. The running game, I've seen people complaining about the running game. Now this I really don't understand, because almost every game I've played in demo, on All Pro though, I've had absolutely no problem running the ball. Make sure you guys go into your game options when you start the game up and turn off auto sprint, auto strafe, and turn on those Madden 10 audibles in the game options. It's every time you start up a game in the demo, you have to make that adjustment, which kind of sucks, but at least we get to make them. So you want to turn off auto sprint though, so you got control over your running back, and don't hit the sprint button before you get through the hole. So set your blocks up when you're not hitting the sprint button, and then jet. So that's what you got to do. That's about the only tip I could give you guys for the run game. Seriously, I've had 7-8 yards of carry, especially with the 2 power backs we have in the demo. They're always falling forward. I've had no problems whatsoever. Interceptions being dropped. I've seen it quite a. I don't know though. It's pretty 50-50, which I appreciate. It's not always a pick, but the one thing I do have to complain about with it though is that there's guys like Charles Woodson and stuff that have the play the ball in the air aggressive trait that don't like. I've thrown a couple balls right to him and he's dropped them. I didn't really appreciate that too much, but I'm sure it's something that could be adjusted. But then at the same time though, then a lot of passes do get picked off. So it's kind of a 50-50 inconsistent thing, which something like that should be. Um, so yeah, the run game's realistic. I'd say it is pretty damn really realistic. Run blocking is phenomenal. Guards pull effectively now and actually smash a defensive back, which is very nice to see. And it's not hard to commit to this year. Last year and the year before that, it was hard to commit to because the blocking was so terrible. Now you actually have decent blocking for once that I'm surprised they're not marketing. You actually have good blocking on these running plays, so you can actually commit to it and sprinkle in a little play action in there. When you're playing and you're getting sacked, I've only noticed it really with Jay Cutler a lot. When you're using Jay Cutler, he tends to fumble the football a lot. I don't know if it's exclusive to Cutler or if it's just, that's how it's going to be all around the board, but it seems that, he fumbles the ball a little more than he should. He had 9 fumbles last year, which is quite a few, but the guy was sacked 52 times, excuse me. So I don't necessarily agree with him fumbling the ball as much as he does. Out of 52 sacks, he only fumbled it 9 times. It's pretty damn impressive. 3-4, the 3-4 defense, still unrealistic, sadly. A little bit better, though. Linebackers play with a little more prowess, a little more force, a little more strength. But the defensive line, the 3-man front just doesn't do its job, though, what it's supposed to do. They don't occupy 2 men at the same time and try and take up as many blockers as they can. That's their job. So their job is not to occupy 1 man and shed a block and go after the quarterback. It's just the 3-4 really needs to be overhauled next year, along with online franchise, but that's a whole nother video and a whole nother topic. Now, here's the last thing, and this really bugs me. I'm not sure where you guys are coming from with this new kick meter. This kick meter's been in Madden for years now, just not in, not this generation, not on the 360 or PS3. They haven't had this kick meter. This kick meter used to be, the old PS2, Xbox One kick meter, and it's awesome. And I'm going to tell you why it's awesome. It's awesome because let's say you have a kicker with a low accuracy rating. Here's the meter. Okay, you kick up to go power. He's got you get your power at the top. It's coming back down. Now, if you have a low accuracy rating, it's coming down like a freaking lightning bolt. Okay, if you have a high accuracy rating, it's coming down something like this. And then there's this little thing right here, the little white block that has for your, it's for your perfect accuracy right there. The higher your accuracy rating, the wider this block is, the wider the range is for perfect accuracy. The lower your accuracy rating is, the smaller it is. So the lower your accuracy rating, faster it goes, smaller the window. Higher your accuracy rating is, slower it goes, bigger the window. So it actually makes kicking ratings matter, and I really, really like it a lot. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you guys are just complaining about like when you're punting and that little arrow, but I don't adjust, get used to it, adjust. Outside of that, though, I think it's a solid game. I really do. It's got a lot of promise. Thank God for custom sliders, because you can, really tinker the game and tweak it to your liking, which is much appreciated. Nice to see EA, take off the handcuffs and say, hey, here you go, play it how you want to play it. That's much appreciated. Been waiting for that for years. NCAA, this is just a little quick shot at NCAA for you guys.